I warned our neighbor's exchange student that my 19-year-old son is a weird obsessed creep who harassed our cleaner. My husband says I sabotaged him. My son had a meltdown outside my daughter's school, and now I'm divorcing their father to protect my 12-year-old. So, I, 40F, have 2 kids, my daughter Liz, 12, and son Toby, 19. I'm going to be honest, Toby has become a perverted degenerate because Toby is his son. My husband, 54, tended to spoil Toby a lot and indulge his interest, which included 18+ movies and my husband's stash of old Playboys. My husband would say, "He's a teenager, let him be," despite me telling him that Toby was growing to be a degenerate. This was especially true for Asian women. We had an Asian cleaner, we're pretty well off, who Toby would hit on and harass until she smacked him across the face when he tried to lift her skirt. My husband wanted to press charges, but I threatened to divorce him if he did, and I would make sure everybody knew what a pervert Toby was. I made sure to give her a nice bonus before referring her to a friend, and then hired an older man in her place. Toby sulked for 3 months following that. I can already hear the comments, "Why threaten divorce when you could just do it?" And it's because I didn't want to uproot Liz. I have been saving a small chunk of the weekly grocery money since she was born and have a lot saved in a secret account. I originally planned to get the best divorce lawyer once Liz goes to college and leave him, but considering everything that happened these past few hours, I may need to move my plans up. I realized I was basically groomed not long after Toby began exhibiting that problematic behavior, and I think fetishizing exotic women is hereditary. As my husband is white and I am Latina, most of the community knows I was groomed, so I have a lot of friends in the neighborhood because of it. They serve as my eyes, and it keeps Toby in check while in public, something that he makes clear annoys him. Anyway, our neighbor recently had his prior exchange student come back for a visit. He hosted a few years back. For the sake of the post, I will call her Kimi. Kimi is incredibly bright and happy. She's always smiling and waving at people in the street. This would be all fine and dandy if she hadn't done so to Toby, who she caught coming back from hanging out with friends. She was on my neighbor's front porch having tea with my neighbor's wife when they caught each other's eyes. To be honest, Toby was smitten, but I didn't trust it. I noticed he and Kimi would talk for hours on the porch the following week, and we even had her over for tea a few times over the course of that week. Liz absolutely adores her, and the two would talk about fashion and the newest anime and manhwas. I have no idea if I spelt that right, but the Korean version of manga. Fast forward to 2 days ago and we're having tea with Kimi, my neighbor's wife, and I. Kimi asked if she could possibly date Toby, and both the neighbor's wife and I froze up. I put down my cup and I was blunt. I told her Toby was a lot like his father in the fact that he doesn't see women as a gentleman should. I brought up the Asian maid and told her Toby may look at her the same way, even if he doesn't seem to right now. I then explained my husband was the same way, love bombing and cherishing me, and I realized too late the kind of man he was. My neighbor's wife cut in, saying that she knows I had tried to set Toby straight, but some nature is too strong to change. I then finished saying that if she did decide to date Toby, I would be honored. I also informed her I'd have her back if Toby ever tried to pull anything shady, and so would most of the neighborhood. Kimi silently nodded, seemingly understanding. Now Kimi is ignoring Toby. She came over this morning to pick up Liz for a shopping day, and Toby tried to say hi. But she just ignored him and told me goodbye before Liz shut the door. Toby mumbled a slur while pouting, and I had enough. I rolled my eyes and said something along the lines of, "And that's why I warned her about you." I honestly didn't mean to slip up, but I was exhausted from not sleeping. I have chronic migraines. Toby looked at me, and it looked like heartbreak. But I looked at him straight in the eyes and told him, "I tried to make you a gentleman, but you and your father kept acting like perverted asses. If you want to blame anybody, blame your father. He allowed you to become this way." Toby stormed to his room and I got a text from my husband an hour later, asking why I would sabotage my own son like that. I texted back basically the same thing, that I had enough of Toby looking at women like objects, and that if he had been a good father, I wouldn't view my son as a pervert. We had a chance to fix his behavior, but he enabled him. My husband is now furious with me, and Toby has yet to leave his room. Liz and Kimi are still out, and I texted my neighbor's wife to ask if the two can sleep over at her place since I have a feeling my husband is already going to start a fight with me. The neighbor offered to come over and act as a mediator and shield. He's a big guy, and I took him up at that offer. I'm shaking, I'm scared, and I probably imploded my marriage. All because I warned a very kind girl about the kind of boy my son is. I feel like I'm about to throw up. I have no idea what my husband is going to do or say. All I know is he's mad, Toby is mad, but Liz and Kimi are safe. My neighbor said he's going to be over before my husband gets home, and I honestly am left wondering if what I did is actually for the best. ATA for warning an exchange student about my son and ruining my marriage? Relevant comments. Commenter 1, NTA, and holy shit, get the entire cavalry. The entire neighborhood is going to want a piece of him if he hurts you. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. OP. Does Liz know her brother's a pervert? OP. You're sweet. Thank you. Liz does know. She never has friends over because she is scared Toby will try something. Commenter 2. Are you sure Toby hasn't tried something with his sister or cousins? It isn't too late to teach Toby about boundaries and consent. What is legal and what is not? OP. My husband is an only child and all my family lives in my home country, so visits are rare. I don't think he's tried anything with his cousins, and even if he did, pretty sure his uncles and male cousins would beat the crap out of him. I have talked to Liz and she told me he's never done anything to her or her friends, but they say he gives off creep vibes and just watches them from a distance. Liz knows if anything does happen, I'm safe to talk to. Toby has assaulted people before. He was expelled from school twice before 16 for touching staff and peers. That was one of the first times I had him tested. So, he has a track record of this kind of behavior. It's why the whole neighborhood watches him. Ever since his second expulsion, he hasn't had any legal trouble. The people he assaulted before dropped the charges once he was expelled and settled out of court both times. Downvoted commenter. Sounds like you're taking your anger of your husband out on your son. The son sounds like he's had problems, but keeping him an incel probably isn't helping. OP. I tried for his entire teen years to get him to do something else aside from staying home. From clubs to sports, he didn't want to do any of it. He didn't like any of the community things, like fairs or markets, either. Even the library's book club didn't work out. I've had him tested for any mental things, like ADHD or autism, and he came out with nothing. I have no idea how to help him, and my husband just enabled him. I love Toby, I just don't know what to do anymore. Update 1. Hello everybody, I just wanted to clarify a few things before I update you all. Firstly, Toby is my son. I think a lot of people were under the impression that he was just my husband's. I guess I worded that strangely. Second, everything I have done to try to prevent any form of escalation of Toby's behavior was dismissed by my husband. Any punishments were immediately reversed when he got home. Thirdly, I got Toby tested for any form of mental disability after his first expulsion. He's been expelled twice, and he is neurotypical as far as the tests go. I got him tested for ADHD, ASD, OCD, and BPD. Fourth, my husband has never been violent towards my children, and if he's upset, he'll direct that energy to something else or activity. Fifth, it feels like a lot of people thought I was stealing from my family by skimming money from the grocery budget, but it was just spare change and notes from after my shopping trips. It's not like I was stealing the entire grocery budget. And finally, yes, I can hear and understand the "why haven't you left?" or "why didn't you do this?" It's taken a lot of talking between my family, friends, and now you people of Reddit for me to realize Liz and I didn't deserve this, especially Liz. So now for the update. I am filing for divorce. I packed Liz up and took her back to my home country for girls' time with her cousins. While there, I made and had a virtual appointment with 2 different lawyers from the same firm. They are currently drafting the paperwork, but they also recommended I talk to local law enforcement about a possible protective order against Toby and my husband. Given their behavioral tendencies, I may consider it. And before everyone comes after me for abandoning Toby, this hurts me too. But at this point, I have to protect Liz, and if I plan to have full custody of her, which the lawyer said was highly guaranteed if Toby continues to live with my husband, I need to separate myself from them. I'm still in my home country, talking to my family about everything. Just as I confirmed before, Toby has not gone after any of his cousins. I asked since I needed any additional accounts for legal reasons. Right now I'm okay, but honestly, I don't know if I'll update again. I just really want to put this entire situation at rest, so I may see you guys again or I may not. But thank you all for the support, advice, and courage. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Please be careful. Your husband may have international law on his side if you file for divorce while out of the country. Especially if you and Liz are not citizens of whatever country you are currently visiting. You need to make sure that the legal firm you are working with is very familiar with international divorce and custody laws while you pursue this while outside the country you and Liz have been living in. Also, as a follow-up to your last post, no, degeneracy is not hereditary. Fetishizing exotic women is not hereditary. These behaviors are not coded in DNA. They are taught, and your son was taught to behave this way by his father, which also means you're going to need to think about your role in your son's life. I'd suggest you prioritize therapy for you and your daughter, separately, ASAP. Commenter do. It was so obvious from the first post that OP is an abused wife. Her husband has not had to get violent with her. The fact that he's violent around her and the children is abuse. The fact that she needs to skim money from the groceries to have an escape fund indicates financial abuse. Enabling and encouraging the son's degenerate and misogynistic behavior is abuse. He has been abusing his wife and his children, especially his daughter, for years. And the fact that anybody would accuse her of stealing from her family because she holds on to a couple of dollars from the grocery budget is indicative of the way so many people think that it is perfectly acceptable to abuse your family financially. I am glad OP is getting out. I hope that her family has her back and her husband hasn't been financially supporting her family in her country so that they encourage her to stay. Good luck, OP, and make sure the lawyers go after every penny you can get. Commenter 3. You're doing the right thing by protecting Liz and yourself. It's heartbreaking, but sometimes distance is the only way to truly create safety and peace. Wishing you strength moving forward. Update 2. Hello again, everybody. Just wish to keep everybody posted on the current situation and thank those who support me in this difficult time. This update is luckily more positive, and I am happy to say that I am not giving up on Toby. I am currently back in my husband's home country. I think people were under the impression I was going to take Liz back to my home country, but I've stated before that I don't want to uproot her. I just wish to look into legal matters and get my mind sorted. I had a few friends in the neighborhood who offered to let me and Liz move into their place, and I took one up on the offer. She lives closer to Liz's school, so it works out better that way. I served my husband divorce papers 2 days after my last post and moved Liz and I out the day of. And 2 days after we moved out, Toby was found lurking outside of Liz's school. He was having a mental breakdown and screaming, and was detained for trespassing. As far as I know and what witnesses have told me and the police, he was a complete wreck. I was also told he had been taken to the hospital for a psyche evaluation and was placed in a 72-hour hold. I wasn't allowed to visit him, and according to the nurses and doctor, my husband made no attempts to visit him or even speak to the doctor. Toby was diagnosed with a mixed personality disorder, as he showed classic symptoms from narcissistic personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. His emotional breakdown came from the fact that I left, and when I was finally able to see him, it broke my heart. He kept crying and saying he didn't know why he was like this, and I just held him. He hasn't cried that hard since he was a child, and it honestly gave me a slight sliver of hope that Toby could still be a part of my life. I sat in on his next therapy session, mandatory while in the facility. And he apologized for how he acted, but I told him that the apology came a little too late. I told him that I'm happy that he wants to get better, but I needed space, that our contact wouldn't be non-existent, just limited. One message I received actually told me that I could send him a voice message, and I think that is a wonderful idea. I told him that if he proved he could be better, we can have full-blown contact again. I'm currently working with the doctors to find a suitable facility for him, as I made it clear that if he went back to my husband, he would never get better. I figured a voice memo a month or maybe a video call, just so he doesn't think I've given up on him. And in 6 months, maybe a year, hopefully he has the tools, coping mechanisms, and medicine he needs. I also helped him look at online classes, just so he can branch out again and try to get an education. So, that's where things stand right now. No updates on my husband. I don't know if he got a lawyer or what he's planning, but I am safe, Liz is doing good, and Toby is getting better. That's all I have for now. I realized I was too hard on Toby, and I plan to not only acknowledge that in my first video message, but apologize for it. A lot of the comments opened my eyes as to how hard I was on him. Even the most of his behavior wasn't just his fault, but mine and my husband's, or I guess future ex-husband. Thank you all for your support, advice, and comments. Harsh or not, I'm glad I posted on here. Relevant/top comments. Commenter 1. So sad that Toby had a breakdown, but it sounds like it was for the better since now he's getting help. Glad you and Liz are out and safe, but no word from husband, even with his son in the hospital, is worrying. Hope all gets better now. OP. I also think the silence is worrying, but I'm going to enjoy the calm while I can. Commenter 2. Wishing you both stability and connection. If you find that your voice memos really help him process things, maybe you could try sending a couple more each month. Just a thought. It makes me sad to see stories like this. These disorders can be really intense, But as you said, with the right psych support, well-targeted therapy, and meds, I genuinely believe things can become more manageable over time, functional, even. Hoping for an update in a year or two with some good news. OP. That is a good idea. I will run it by his current doctor. Thank you for the advice. Commenter 3. I don't know if only contacting him once a month is a good idea. You're leaving a lot of space for your husband to come back in and swoop him into his manipulations. I think you do need to have more contact, even if it hurts you, if you want to help him heal. Commenter 4. I'm happy you're not giving up on Toby and still want to protect both your children and yourself. I'm glad your daughter is happy and carefree, and hope it remains like that. However, you need to have someone with her and someone with you wherever you go. The silence your husband is having issues threatening, and he's for sure making a plan to destroy you all, so gather evidence from throughout the years and everything recently, and keep 2 separate copies just in case. And please get someone to go with your daughter and you at all times. Your sub-XH is gonna make a move, and it will be drastic. He's being cornered, and animals are at its dangerous peak when they feel cornered and threatened. Get both of you spy GPS trackers and bracelets or something, in case he gets one or both of you. Be always alert until someone can contact him. Final update. Hello everyone. I know it has been a while, but I just wanted to get this final update out for everybody. It has been a busy few months for me, so I will try to make the timeline easy. But first, I want to thank everybody who has supported me through this. It means the world to me, Liz and Toby. First off, I got a job. Once I moved out, I took the liberty to apply for part-time work. I needed something that would allow me to still be a part of Liz's life while also saving for an apartment or something. Liz's school is in a pretty nice area, so it is taking a while for me to save enough money. But the person who is allowing us to stay says she doesn't mind I do cook for her and help tidy the house as a thank you. I'm forever grateful for her support. Liz is doing great. I'm looking at therapist for her. I think it would be best for her to have a safe place to vent that isn't me or one of her friends. I also know that with the upcoming divorce, she is going to need a little extra guidance she might not feel like sharing with me. Now, before I tell you all about Toby, I once again want to thank everybody for helping both him and I. Our relationship has gotten better since his diagnoses. I am aware progress is hardly linear. It took 2 months to figure out dosages and therapies, and we even found a homing service for him. He currently lives in a facility where he shares a dormitory 4 rooms to a dorm, so he has his own space, a communal area, and he can begin to make friends with boys his own age. I took people's advice, and we decided a video chat a week would be sufficient. He is apparently having a nice time, and we have him enrolled for spring classes online for next year. He has 2 therapy sessions a week, plus the facility has a counselor for urgent cases. My hope is he can get down to 1 session per week eventually, but I think he just has a lot to unpack mentally. Finally, my ex-husband. Apparently his lawyer told him there wouldn't be much of a case for him, due to amounting evidence, up to and including the state of Toby, as well as multiple character witnesses. He would most likely be made to pay child support for Liz, and the courts will heavily favor me. So he cut his losses and decided to terminate his parental rights to Liz. It was surprising receiving that letter, but nonetheless, I think he finally made a good decision. His rights are not fully terminated yet, and he does have supervised visitation with Liz every 2 weeks, though he rarely shows up. Probably thinks it will help him have his rights are terminated faster. In regards to assets, my lawyer said that since I had proof of emotional, mental, and financial abuse, the courts would favor me in terms of assets. We did not have a prenup or anything protecting him, so my guess is assets will be split 50-50, though I don't want anything in the house. I already took my own personal items, as well as heirlooms that he could sell. I honestly just wish to wash my hands of him, though it isn't ever that simple. Our next court date is set for sometime in December. I won't lie and say I'm 100% okay. I do still sometimes worry for Liz and Toby. I still have tea with the neighbors. They assure me I'm doing the right thing, as do my family and friends. I am surrounded by support. I also received a card from Kimi from my old neighbor. Apparently she is a lurker here and recognized the story. So, if you're reading this, Kimi, your letter made me laugh, and I am so glad you are doing well. Things have mostly settled. I still wake up some nights with a pit in my stomach and dread clouding my thoughts. But overall, I think I am doing the best I can. I was also looking at therapy for myself, though I would like to finish my divorce before doing that. I think this will be my final update regarding my children and situation. Once again, thank you for your support, everyone. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. So, terminating parental rights doesn't usually mean you don't owe child support. If you married another man and he adopted Liz, then your ex wouldn't owe it. But I find it strange that the court would waive child support if he just gave up his rights. deadbeat fathers all over the place would take that route if it got them out of child support obligations. OP, it could have something to do with how property is divided. I think the topic will be discussed more in the December meeting. Commenter 2. Just because he terminated his parental rights doesn't mean he is free of his financial responsibility in most states. OP, I am not American. I am from Europe. But I understand the confusion.